608, 8. I'm just kidding. This is episode 688. Everybody, welcome back to the show. Good morning, Michael.
Yeah,
How you be today, man?
I'm good. I am fired up. I'm like wasn't I bouncing around earlier? I was so amped up for the show. I do think I am going to pass out at some point during the show because I've been up drinking coffee all morning. I can't wait for this show, but I think I'm going to crash at some point.
Yeah,
Other than that, I'm doing great.
if you decide you want to take a nap, just put your blanket on,
All right.
wrap it up wrap it up
Yeah.
around your neck, and then just sleep there. We'll look at you and talk about you, and it'll be a lot of fun. Believe me, it'll be good for the show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 688, 12 more episodes, Mike, to the
Yes.
big 700. I can't believe it. We
So
are
close.
back, everybody. This is the first day after the last NFL game. Mike, we are done with NFL football. Well, not really. But as far as games go, we are done till, in July. They start back at
Yeah.
camp, and in August they get the shortened preseason, then they'll be back at it in September. But at the end of the day, here we are. We have no NFL football, no fresh, brand new NFL games to watch for five and a half months.
I know it's kind of depressing. Now that you said it out loud, oh God, we got to wait that long for real football that matters. You know, I'm not looking forward to the
It,
preseason, only that it's one step closer to the regular season. That's the only thing I have to look
absolutely, and
forward to.
and here in a couple weeks, on the 27th of this month, you got to remember today is the 10th, so
Yeah.
a couple weeks away. The 27th, we do start the combine in Indianapolis. That will run from February
Yep.
27th to March 12th. So that's the next big date we got going. We have a lot to talk about in between now and then. A lot of speculation, a lot of people being named as possible draft picks for the Steelers. And so a lot of things to go. But today, I think we're going to talk a little bit, just a little bit about this Super Bowl last night, everybody.
A little bit.
The one word that I would use for this Super Bowl for me personally was satisfying. I was
I,
satisfied when it was over. And at the end of the day, I do hate them scumbag people from
yeah.
Philadelphia. And just because of what's going on with the Kansas City Chiefs, they basically morphed into the New England Patriots and just became an extension of what that disaster was for 2 decades. I
Hmm.
can honestly say I'm satisfied with the way things went. The Philadelphia Eagles in their fifth appearance, they
Yeah.
managed a win over the Kansas City Chiefs. And something interesting about the Philadelphia Eagles of this century, Mike. They've been to 4 Super Bowls.
Yes.
They've won 2 against the 2 dynasties, and they lost 2 against the 2 dynasties. They played all their
Yeah.
Super Bowls against the same 2 teams, losing 1 to each team, and they both just so happen to be the dynasties of the time. So, Philadelphia is writing their own story for their football team. It's going to look good in the future someday. People are going to look back and say, oh, look at that Philadelphia team in the early 2000s. So,
Right.
um,
They did something right. They broke up, like you said, they broke up the two dynasties. That's what they're good for.
yeah. So good for them. I changed my
Good for them.
opinion somewhat on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the guy's good. I just didn't. I never really understood Jalen Hurts entirely in his game. But as I'm
Hmm.
watching, he's not meant for everybody. That kind of quarterback wouldn't go to
Correct.
every
Yeah.
team in the NFL and have
Yeah.
success. But I got to say, after watching this guy and seeing him playing a couple Super Bowls and just seeing what he does with this team in Philadelphia, I'm like, I changed my overall tune on Jalen Hurts. I really did. I think I kind of like him.
Yeah. I think we talked about this last night at the studio together when we were watching the game. How Jalen Hurts, his biggest moments were in the Super Bowl. The last time they played KC, they may have lost, but he played well in that game. Same thing in this game. He played well and they won. It kind of puts you in the mind. I don't want to put him in that class, but like Terry Bradshaw. You look at Terry Bradshaw's regular season numbers, they're not that good. But then you watch him play when the lights are the biggest. That's when he plays the best, and that's what Jalen Hurts. His two best games have been the Super Bowls. He's just that kind of guy. When he gets there, he can ball out, but getting there is the struggle because you don't know what Jalen Hurts you're going to get. This you don't see this kind of performance from him all the time. You kind of saw him struggle at the end of last year, middle parts of this year. AJ Brown reading a self-help book because his quarterback can't get him the ball. The next thing you know, that quarterback goes out and wins the Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, like you said, man, he's not for everyone. Would I want him on the Steelers? I don't know, because is he going to play like this, or is he going to play like he does, like in the middle of the season when he's up and down all over the place?
Another one of my favorite parts of the game is when they put Taylor Swift on the screen and everybody booed her. I thought that was great. And you know what? Only Philadelphia fans could pull that off.
Yeah, that's a Philly thing right there.
It really was. I'm watching. I thought, you know what?
They booed Santa Claus.
Yeah, they booed Santa Claus. They booed Taylor Swift. That was another one of my favorite parts of the game. A lot of things. Let's get into the game itself, though, guys. Philadelphia Eagles, they win 40-22. It should have been a lot worse. The Chiefs get a lot of garbage points near the end of the game. When it was 34-0, that's what the game was to me. It was a 34-0 blowout, and again, you had some garbage points in the fourth quarter, which really equaled out to nothing. The game finished 40-22. The Philadelphia Eagles, they did win their second championship in 5 trips. Again, Mike, they 2 wins were against the 2 dynasties of the era that they won those Super Bowls. So, with the exception of the scumbag fans over there, good for the Eagles. Congratulations, Mike. The Eagles, they let's take a look at some numbers here. Patty Mahomes goes 21 for 32, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Patrick Mahomes also leads the team in rushing.
Yeah.
With 4 carries, 25 yards. Mike Hunt, 3 carries, 9 yards. Pacheco, 3 carries, 7 yards.
Yeah.
And I understand that you had to go back to the run because nothing was working. They had to go to the pass, I'm sorry. And every time the Chiefs went to do anything, Philadelphia was ready for these guys. Mike, They couldn't run, they couldn't pass, they couldn't draw a penalty, which is what they do best. They even lost the penalty battle of the night. Mike, this Philadelphia Eagles team really brought it. I think that this Kansas City team really showed who they are and where they are right now, because they aren't the same team they were a couple years ago. They don't have Tyreek Hill. They don't have, so there was a lot of things, Mike, that this was a good, I think, a good example of where Kansas City is now, where they stand against the powerhouses such as the Philadelphia Eagles. Would the Buffalo Bills been a more interesting Super Bowl? I don't know, but one thing that I do know is this: everything Kansas City lined up to do, the Eagles were right there. They countered it. They couldn't. Patrick Mahomes couldn't move around in the backfield. I think maybe 1 or 2 plays I seen one of his weird little scampers, but it was truly, honestly, a blowout in every sense of the word, Mike. A lot of good things, a lot of points to talk about. A couple young guys that we flirted with here on the show over the years, mainly Jalen Carter 2 years ago and Cooper DeJean last year, which were obviously higher picks. But we on the show, as we do our mock draft and prepare for the draft, certainly 2 names that we were familiar with. These 2 guys, you're watching the game, 2 young guys. Jalen Carter just causing mass chaos on the line, and Cooper DeJean, of course, having his pick 6 early in the game, giving the Eagles, I think, 17-0 lead at the time. So, Mike, a lot of these younger guys on defense made the difference. But let's continue. Worthy had 8 catches for 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. Worthy with a big night. Travis Kelce only with a measly 4 catches for 39 yards. I still can't get over.
They made him the focal point of the defense, not only controlling the offense line, but they were not going to let Travis Kelce get going, and that's something that, like, a lot of teams down the stretch didn't do. They let him do what we wanted to do, and that opened everyone else up. And you're going to see what that offense looks like without Travis Kelce. They got to find a replacement.
I still can't
really took him out of. They were like,
they
Travis
ran the
Kelce
ball
beat us
6 times between their 2 running backs.
Yeah, and
6 times.
Yeah, like DLW said on the board, Andy Reid called a bad game, and that's a phrase you really don't hear a whole lot. Andy Reid called a bad game.
6 carries for 16 yards between Pacheco.
Yep.
and Hunt.
Yeah, and that Philly's D line, like Califax is saying, they controlled their O line, and they, my God, it was a thing of beauty. If you love, dominating football up front in the trenches, what's that Philly front four? Go back and watch this game. It was a thing of beauty.
Let's talk about Philly for a couple minutes. Jalen Hurts goes 17 for 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He also leads the team in rushing with 11 carries, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Barkley had 25 carries for 57 yards. Am I reading that right? 25 for 57.
25, 57, yeah.
Okay. Devontae Smith has 4 catches for 69 yards. Bond, Mike, the defensive player of the, what was he? Defensive player of the year.
In voting for it, yeah.
He has was he the defensive player of the year?
No, it was Surtain. He was up.
Oh, that's right.
Vaughn,
yeah, you're right. He did really well, Mike. He had 7 tackles and an interception. Of course, yep. Cooper DeJean has his pick 6. Let's go to the team numbers, and then we will start to get to the board here in a second. I just want to kind of get this stuff all the way.
No. You're good. I'm sorry, man.
Philadelphia has 345 total yards to Casey's 275. Kansas City out past Philadelphia 226 to 210. Running the ball, Philadelphia wins the battle 135 to 49. Yards per play, the Chiefs with 5.6, Philadelphia with 4.9.
Well, you were right, man. You probably could have said Pittsburgh when you're reading off Philly or KC's stats, and I don't think anyone would have batted an eye.
First downs, the Eagles 21, the Chiefs 12.
Yeah.
Third down conversion, pretty close. Philadelphia 3 for 12, Kansas City 3 for 11. Total plays, the Eagles with 70, the Chiefs with 49. The Chiefs took 6 sacks. Philadelphia took 2. Penalties, again, the Eagles penalized more than Kansas City. And I don't think anybody's going to argue that this game was fixed. I'm really going to be honest with you. 8 penalties, 59 yards against the Eagles. 7 penalties, 75 yards against Kansas City. Kansas City lost a fumble. Kansas City threw 2 interceptions. Philadelphia, turnover-wise, they threw 1 interception. In the Eagles, they win the time of possession battle 36-58. So basically 37 minutes to 23:02. 36 to 20, or to 23, I'm sorry, was your time basically in this game. 37 to 23. The Philadelphia Eagles almost 2/3 the time, the amount that the Chiefs had the ball. Mike, did anything let me jump on the board. Let's do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's get there.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Good,
good morning on the board. Good morning on the board. DLW. New fact, the narrative of running QBs not being able to win a Super Bowl is dead. It was failed logic, and Justin Fields' stock is much higher. Yinzer Joe says, fly, Eagles, fly, our other PA team.
I wouldn't go that far myself, but
DLW, Mike, Andy Reid called a bad game, as you guys said. Kyler Haas, what up, brother? He says, yo. And he also says the O-line, D-line was incredible for the Eagles. It sure was. And there wasn't many teams that was going to win that game last night playing against the Eagles. I got to be honest.
God, no.
They brought it. That they played their best game of the season. Neil O'Donnell, I could have outplayed Mahomes last night. Mark Malone, Neil O'Donnell, you don't exactly have a great track record in that game at their home slice.
When I saw Neil's comment, that was my first reaction to. I'm glad Mark.
I didn't even make the connection at first.
I did. I was like,
yeah. Kyler Haas also said I was tweaking when they threw the flag on AJ at the beginning. And then Kyler Haas also said if that kept happening and they won, Philly would have burned the whole country. I'm not rolling that out of the question.
That was a penalty. That was a penalty. You can't grab someone in the face mask and push them away. That's an easy call.
Patrick, I'm sorry, not Patrick, but Jalen Hurts, the MVP, Mike. Yep. He does win the MVP of the game. I don't have it in front of me. Did Derpy take the Eagles in this game? Kyler Haas?
I think he did. I think he took the Eagles.
I'm not going to reveal the picks till tomorrow because Derpy's sick, apparently.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Normally, I'd be making fun of him for not being here, but I'm not going to make fun of the guy for being
I think he took Philadelphia. I gotta find what I did with all that.
Yeah.
So Derpy, whenever he's better, hopefully tomorrow he could be back and we could get to the bottom of this. I'm gonna try to trick him into playing some Deal or No Deal with his winnings. We'll see if he bites, but that's the plan.
What's he secretly listening to this?
That's all right. He could listen. I think that would be all right.
Yeah,
Keller Haas says he did pick the Eagles. All right.
yeah,
I got to tell you, he was dominant this year.
he was.
Derpy, as far as picks went, he was dominant, Mike. There wasn't much that he missed on. I got to tell you,
No,
he's like a savant.
He is, and it sucks too. All the like every week that he won, it was about like what 1 or 2 games. It made me mad.
I mean, it goes all the way to last year. This guy, he's just a pick savant. I don't understand.
He is. I don't.
He-
I'm about to start laying down money on every individual pick that Derby has.
What else? What else? What else about this game? Oh yeah, this is a couple of things else. Um, 22.6 million, 22.6 million people planned to miss work today after the Super Bowl. 22.6 million. I kind of find that funny,
That's
but nonetheless, I guess
that's
it's if it's your or a holiday, maybe we might as well take the day off and
yeah,
to make it right.
yeah, that's why they want to add that 18th game, extend the season out to what President's Day weekend, so everyone can have that Monday off. So that's what's going on.
Mark Malone says Derpy was probably partying hard with the midgets last night.
He
Oh,
probably was.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that
That would be
party.
a great party.
Yinzer Joe, my man, what is up, bro? He says Derpy probably has carbon monoxide. Yeah, maybe he does.
Goes into a trance. That smoke alarm beat, gaining insight into game winners. You know what? That might be why he does
We
not.
got to get cameras up at his place.
He probably has like
I have to
ones
see
that
what's going
actually
on.
work, and that's the one that's like sending him signals or some shit.
Mike, I got to see what's going on up there.
I want to go to the Derpy compound, and like you said, man, we have to investigate this. There's a lot of I wonder if it's like a secret CIA black site or some shit. That's what's going on up there. They got like MK Ultra experiments on Derpy and the midgets.
Mark Malone says Derpy goes into a trance every time that alarm gaining insight into winning games.
Yeah, that's what.
Maybe
happens,
that's what we
man.
need.
That's why I'm saying it's a CIA black site. They're dropping little.
Derpy could be one of them. Derpy could be one of them guys in the middle of the night that sell products on late night TV. And it could be his system for successful team picking, and that's what it would be. Stupid alarm.
I'm gonna sell you a broken smoke alarm that you have to put in your house. No, Mark one, I'm afraid to put a camera in that smoke alarm. I'm afraid what I will see after hours. I don't want to see that. If people do, you know what? There's a fetish for everything, and that's probably one I don't want to delve into. No.
I picture Derpy. Like when a kid falls asleep, they don't necessarily, like a young kid, they don't necessarily wait till they get into the bed. They just kind of clonk out wherever they are. I could see Derpy doing that, like in the middle of his room, just on the floor, half bent one way,
It's
That's
not
what
that he
I
has
picture when I think of
narcolepsy.
Derpy.
He's just a little, deep down, a little kid.
Nah.
Very disturbing.
What else? Booing Swift, 22.6 to miss work. Got that, everybody. My favorite commercial I did have a favorite commercial.
Okay.
I like the Stop Hate one with Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady. I thought that was a really good commercial. And it was like, I think it did a service as far as defining some things, because Snoop and Tom Brady were standing there basically, talking, saying stuff to one another. And like Snoop would say, well, I don't like you because I don't know you. And I don't like you. And Tom Brady would say, well, I don't like you because you don't believe what I believe. And I thought, that was a really smart commercial, because it's not, people, I just thought it was a really good commercial. I thought it was a good commercial. The message was good. And again, I think people dislike people for the wrong reasons a lot of times. I mean, a guy that you don't even know that you might be really good friends with, if he's not in your clique and their clique disagrees with your clique, now you're an enemy of that person. Meanwhile, you could have been the best of friends. That's all I'm saying. I thought that commercial had a really good message. That was my favorite commercial. I wasn't blown away by many, but if I had to walk away at the end of the day, Mike, with a favorite commercial, that was mine. Did any stick out to you?
No, not really. I didn't pay attention to the commercials this year. Like when I was watching the game, when the commercials would come on, I'd just scroll through Twitter, see what see what the people were saying about the game and stuff. I just didn't pay attention to the commercials this year like I have in years past.
The one that I didn't pay attention to, I wish I would, was the halftime show.
Yeah.
Apparently, everybody has something to say. There was a lot of people I see on social media that loved it.
And
There was a
people that
lot of
hate
people that I seen that didn't understand it, and
Yeah.
they're not mixed with their message by saying that. They're not saying that they hate it. They're just saying I don't understand what just happened, which I get, because that generally happens with older people, and that's one thing I'm noticing, Mike, is a lot of the younger people were the ones that loved it,
Yeah.
and the older people are the ones that disliked it.
Mhm.
Nobody's wrong.
No.
How do you adjust this in the future though when you're trying to
Yeah.
appease everybody?
You can't though. That's the thing, because like they're like, you know, like I like this one. I liked the one, who was it last year with, who did last year? I forget his name. I don't know. Last year's was good. I like the one that, you know, with Snoop and Dre and 50 and M. I like that one. I like the Katy Perry one because that one was weird, but I didn't like the Maroon 5 one. I didn't like the Coldplay one. So you can't please everyone. You're gonna have crossover people who like certain genres, kind of like another genre. But you have people who like
Would it
their
be
genre,
safe,
they don't
Mike,
want to listen to anything else. So
to
it's kind of hard
alternate?
to. It's kind of you can alternate
Because I don't, in what you're saying,
like a rock, like a rock, like a
yeah,
hip hop, an
you
older,
can't
a
you
younger
can't do hip hop for
generation.
5 years in a row, or you can't do rock for 5 years in a row. You can't do. You
Mix it
gotta
up a
kind of
little bit.
mix. I would
Yeah,
think.
yeah. And I wonder too if they're looking at like, okay, what's, you know, the biggest streamers on, like, you know, on Spotify and Apple, who's, you know, up winning Grammys, who's doing this, who's doing ticket sales. I wonder what kind of formula they use to judge this. But like you said, it gets stale if you keep going to like the
Absolutely.
same genre, same thing. So yeah,
Uh,
it gets stale. I get it, but you know, it didn't bother me.
Another thing, my big pain in the ass in this year's Super Bowl was. Can anybody guess? Can you guess? Can you guess, Mike, what drove me crazy
I have
about
two
this Super
guesses.
Bowl? Yeah,
Two
please.
guesses. Tom Brady consistently calling Mahomes Patrick,
Okay.
and the new score bug.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. The score bug. The score bug. The score bug. Let me start with this. This almost ruined my night.
I knew it.
Like, didn't I just say this last week? How there's words or terms that
Yeah.
come so every so often. They could have been around forever, but when
Yeah.
one person, maybe two people use it
Yeah.
in the limelight,
Uh-huh.
everybody now
Yeah.
says the word. They'll say it for a week, and guess what?
Uh-huh.
Nobody's ever going to say score bug 1 year from now. I promise you. That's my word. I hate it. I hate score bug more than anything else, and for many reasons. Listen, I've been watching football for 40 years with scoreboards on the screen, and I got to be honest. I watched a lot of football. And that was the first time, Mike, I've heard anybody, and I understand because I researched it, and it goes back a little further, but that was the first time that I heard anybody come out publicly on a game and talk about the score bug, which was the scoreboard at the bottom of the screen. Of obviously looked like it was from an Atari game last night. But I noticed this before anybody ever said it, but then I get on social media after the game, and everybody, oh, I hated the score bug. The score bug. Did you see the score bug? Mike, that drives me crazy more. And you know, because I just complained about, I can't think what the word was last week.
But I said what we said.
The word, and nobody ever says it. Nobody, Mike, nobody. Come on. When was the last time you ever heard somebody say score bug? I don't think ever in my life. And again, I watched a lot of football, and now everybody all of a sudden is a score bug expert. That drives me crazy. That's exactly what I was talking about. And I heard interest. I got to be honest. I don't think we're the only people. I don't think I'm the only person that was bugged by that stupid score.
I'm bugged by the term score bug.
Yes.
The design itself, it didn't.
Oh, I didn't care about the design. It was the word.
But
itself.
like I noticed the term score bug. It was earlier in the year. It was like people working inside like the sports media business. They were saying, "Oh, the score. You know what I mean? Oh, the score bug." Okay,
the scoreboard on the screen.
Yeah, it's an inside technical term. Now it bled out into the mainstream online. Now everyone wants to say it to be part of the
smart guy. I want to be the guy. Sounds like I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to say score bug 5 times.
You say the scoreboard. Everyone knows what you're talking about. Score bug. You're trying to.
Now you're a smart guy.
Yeah. Now you're trying to separate yourself from everyone else. No. Yeah. It's an inside industry term. Like when
somebody tries to
like the stuff I have on the screen. That's just one of them I can have an actual
score
score
bug.
bug.
Right.
It says that I know what it is, but I'm not going to say to everyone watching or to
No.
you on the side, "Oh, I got a new score bug for the
Mike, have
screen."
you
Like,
ever
hey, I
said
got a new graphic.
ticker? I've
Ticker.
said ticker many
I
a
said
time.
ticker.
You see the ticker going across the bottom of the
Ticker
screen?
Chiron. Like, see, I
I've
hate saying
never.
Chiron.
I hate
Like,
that
I
stupid
catch
score
myself.
bug.
Like,
I
if I'm
hate it.
yep. If
I
I'm
hate it
watching
more
the
than
news,
anything.
I'll say, "Ooh, what's down on the Chiron?" I'm like, "No, Mike, it's a fucking ticker. You don't work in the TV industry. Don't call it a Chiron."
So the stupid score. You nailed that. You nailed it right on the head.
Yep.
What was the other thing you said? Tom Brady. What was he saying?
Tom Brady kept, how everyone calls the players by their last name because that's how you know them. It's Mahomes or like Brady would be like, oh, instead of saying Mahomes saw this, that, he's like, oh, Patrick did this, Patrick did that. Like, okay, yeah, we get it. You're on a first name basis with them because you played against each other.
That didn't bug me.
But that one, it just rang weird because I'm used to hearing everyone being referred to by their last name or a nickname. Roethlisberger was Big Ben. And it's like Javon Kersey, like, oh, here's the freak. But using someone's proper name, using someone's government name, it threw me off.
Never thought twice.
I did. It bugged me. But not that much.
Joe says, I like the breast cancer commercial. Breasts get attention for all the wrong reasons. I know. Mike, I want to see more breasts for all the right reasons.
Me too. I think we all just want to see more breasts.
We definitely want to see more breasts.
Maybe that's what happened to Derpy. He saw the breast for all the right reasons last night.
Let's see, Mike. Your Chiefs did not get their three-peat.
No, they did not. But
you did play both sides of the fence.
I played both. I straddled that line perfectly, like an arms dealer, baby.
Yeah, you always have this strategy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
If I have to watch the game, I have to find a rooting interest either way. So my Penn State guys got their ring. A couple Pitt guys got their rings too for the Eagles. So it works out for Pitt and Penn State fans.
I didn't watch I didn't see the national anthem. I don't know how that went. So I can't give an opinion on that. However, I do want to say congratulations to the young man, Mr. Kenny Pickett. Of course, he's going to be the butt of every joke and meme that you see for probably the next 364 days. Nonetheless, KP is a Super Bowl champion. He was also a ACC champion, and he also led his team that he got drafted to a 14-9 record. He is the second most comeback win since 2022. Young Kenny is off to a fine start. Now, if he could just go somewhere where they let him play, we'll see. But right now, I mean,
that Hall of Fame resume is not looking too shabby.
I got to say though, Mike,
got more Super Bowls.
It's not about the Hall of Fame; it's about the success of things in life. The guy's successful. So congratulations to him. And as Mike said, all the Pitt and Penn State players that were, and the people from the Whippeal, because there was a load. There was a load of guys from right here in Western PA on top of guys that went to Pitt and Penn State. So congratulations to everybody. You made it to the big game, whether you won, whether you lost. At the end of the day, you got to do it. So let's just hope that we don't get to see another Chiefs and Eagles Super Bowl for a long, long time.
God, no.
Yinzer Joe says, guys, did you happen to catch the Black National Anthem? Do we need this to be a real thing in our country? Why do they keep pushing this narrative? I haven't seen or heard much on white on black violence.
So the Black National Anthem is a song that it's not the Black National Anthem. It's something like Black people gravitated toward. Like, hey, we feel like this represents our life experience more than the national anthem. They still celebrate both. This one, it feels closer to their life experience towards them.
Right? I mean, that's the only official.
That's the official one, yeah. And to them, like that's the national anthem
for the
country. And this is one, like, this one resonates to us. That's just what
the funny thing is. While Mike argues one side of the coin, he still uses terms like "to them," but nonetheless,
well, to their life experience. I don't have their life experience. I know, right? Those people over there, as opposed to those people over there. Forward all hate comments to Mike at
Enthusiastic Caleb says we were riding into MLB spring training schemes has created a new pitch called the Ephus Knuckleball. Horowitz will steal 155 bases. Willie Starge will return to the team, and it all is saved. And they did pick up Tommy Pham. He's going
Tommy Pham, baby.
He gets his Social Security, his retirement in a couple years. He's about up there. I mean, he's almost 40. But I am excited. I am excited over Enthusiastic Mod Caleb. I get into baseball more than Mike does. I get into the Pirates a lot more. I just have to be following numbers constantly. It's just my brain doesn't stop working if I'm not following numbers constantly. So
yeah, like I root for the Buccos. I'm rooting for Paul Skeens to escape Pittsburgh.
Let's see what else.
That's what I want. I want Paul Skeens to get out of Pittsburgh alive and have a successful career when he leaves.
How about this, guys? Some Steelers. Let's get into some Steelers, guys. We're halfway through the show.
Oh
A lot of
yeah.
Super Bowl talk through the first half. The Steelers. Now, Matthew Stafford, or co-favorite. Matthew Stafford is a co-favorite to be traded to the Steelers. Or the Steelers are a co-favorite to be a favorite for Stafford to come to here. Apparently, Bovada, the Steelers and somebody else. Didn't mention who the other team was, but the Steelers and somebody else are the two places that Matthew Stafford is at least leading in the odds right now. I don't know if it's any interest. I do know that his wife did. She was totally okay with leaving Los Angeles. She's ready to get out of there if that would happen to come. Mike, Matthew Stafford. Now let me ask you this as well. Just because Cooper Kupp is also another name that.
Yes.
Let me ask you. What if the Steelers could pull in Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford? Does this team become somewhat of a competitor next year?
Yeah.
Let me ask you if they let me restate that. If they would bring in Matthew Stafford, who'd won a Super Bowl, Cooper Kupp, and let's just say they get that guy from Ohio State, that receiver that they like, Ibuka. Let's say they get Ibuka, Cooper Kupp, and Matthew Stafford. That's got to be a nice looking team on top of I would say a little bit better than average team that we already are, finishing 10-7 a couple years in a row. That's pretty much what you are.
Yeah.
Like, how many wins a season does a team with those three guys added on to look like you next year? How many wins does that look like to you?
My God. You would have to think the defense will perform better because they wouldn't be out there as much. If you don't have to give up George Pickens to swing like this trade in there, you're able to keep this year's first 12-win team.
Mike, what's this look like to you? Kupp, Pickens, Ibuka, Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson is your 5 receivers. Certainly sounds a little bit better than it was this year.
Yeah, it sounds about like a 12. I'd stick like a 12-win team. Just like that would be my expectations out of the gate. Because now, okay, you're going to assume your offensive line is going to be better because that you're going to have Fatanu back. Your 2 other rookies have a year of experience. Hopefully, Broderick Jones gets his head around. You're going to upgrade the running back position or try and keep it steady, bringing back Jalen and someone else. Now you add Stafford. Now you add Cooper Kupp. You got Roman Wilson there. Yeah, M'Baka. But you also got Patty Fry, Darnell Washington. You'd be able to push the ball up and down the field. I'd say like a 12-13 win team.
I would like that. Again, I'm so on the fence with what we should do at the quarterback position. But if you get a guy that's that close to being the guy, again, you only know that there's so many X amount of players out there that are Tom Brady's, Patrick Mahomes, even Josh Allen's.
Yeah.
I think that, and ultimately that's what we want to get. And we talk about this kicking the can down the road QB.
Yeah.
I would be content with the Stafford, where again, I would call somebody that's Justin Fields, I would call him be the kick it down the road. I just don't see that guy getting us to the Super Bowl. I just don't.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not knocking him. I just don't. That's my opinion. But if you have Matthew Stafford, again, the guy has an eye. The guy has between the ears. When you're a quarterback in the NFL, those are very important. I would be very cool with giving Matthew Stafford a decent amount of money, Mike, and then start searching the drafts every year and keeping an eye on what's going on in the draft and trying to look for your QB of the future. Give us those 2 guys, and I'm thrilled about next season, Mike.
Me too. You just have to figure out a way to make the salary cap work. There's almost like $70 million worth of cap between the 2 of them. And DLW, to answer your question, why do people like him so much? He's old, never was a burner, just for the mentor factor. Like, part of it would be the mentor factor. The other, like, if you were able to keep Pickens and even just get Kupp, and then you would have another quarterback outside of Stafford, that's the guy I want next to George Pickens. I want someone who's a crafty route runner and that would, so the coverage has to draw to this guy as well. Or you can't double team George because otherwise, okay, you're going to let Cooper Kupp beat your number 2 corner by his route running, then that's going to open up room for your slot receivers, open up room for your tight end. I want someone along those lines of a Cooper Kupp. Doesn't have to be him, but if this was the scenario that would happen, this is what I'm envisioning how the offense would look, and I would like that a lot better than with, just George Pickens, Roman Wilson, and another rookie.
All right, Mike, I have to address DLW. All right, 2 things. there's something that you can see when you watch a player play. Maybe the player doesn't have the greatest numbers. Maybe he doesn't have the best size. Maybe he's not the fastest guy. But I think Cooper Cup fits in this category. When there's a guy that balls out, when there's a guy that gives 50% more effort than everybody else on the field when he's out there, and a guy that, again, he's undersized but he can still do the things he does. I got to tell you, I was starting to fall into that. He's getting a little bit past his prime. But did you see him last year? The guy's still a baller, and I got to be honest, I would be happier with him than 4 out of the 5 wide receivers that we had on our staff, just because of what he brings to the table. We could sit around and say, we're happy with Calvin Austin, but I would be 100 times happier with Cooper. Again, the guy just brings it. He has that Julian Edelman. He's tough. Why wouldn't we want that on our team? I don't understand. I do want to say good morning to Jen. Good afternoon, I guess. And then also I do want to say to DLW, he seems to be on me. Let's see. There was just a running QB that just won in lieu of picking a now old QB in Stafford. That's weird. Well, I don't think that you have to have a running QB. If the running QB is just now winning after 59 years, I don't think you're missing the bus here. I think that you'll be fine if you have a quarterback that could actually throw the ball down the field, that has all the attributes of being quarterbacky, I guess is the word, and I hate to use it, but I've been using it a lot lately. I think that's what the Steelers offense that doesn't have a lot going for it needs, is somebody that actually played the quarterback position well. I mean, Fields is going to be hit or miss. He's going to be spotty.
Yeah.
The guy's going to come in and he's going to do what Justin Fields do. Maybe we do go 6-2 to start the season under Justin Fields. But at the end of the day, do you feel that? We don't know, because Russell Wilson came in and took over the rest of the season. But again, yes, I would rather have the experience. I would rather have somebody that won the Super Bowl. And I would rather. I mean, the other guy's proven, his first 3-4 years with the Bears. Okay, it was the Bears, you say. Well, then he comes to Pittsburgh. He does well. He's not setting the world on fire is what I'm saying. I'm not super excited about Justin Fields. Does that mean that I don't want a quarterback that can't run? And that's not what I'm saying. Do I think that you could only be a quarterback that could throw if you're going to? And that's not what I'm saying either. I'm just saying at this point, with this team that we have, throw a little bit of money at this guy. I guarantee we win more games than we did last year. And let's see where it lands. Justin, let him compete. Let Justin Fields and what's her face compete. I think at the end of the day, I think you'll find out that Matthew Stafford will probably beat him out in a competition in preseason. But again, that would remain to be seen.
Like my dream would be, like, if say you want to run Fields back as your quarterback, what I would do, I'm looking at more than just one receiver in free agency or in trade. I'd be looking at something like a Chris Godwin too, if you don't want to trade for Cooper Cup. Yeah, he's coming back from injury, but he's still been almost 1,000-yard receiver every year in the league, and you pair him up with George Pickens, that would be a nice combination as well. So it wouldn't just be someone like Cooper Cup, it'd be like someone who has been a continual presence in the NFL, so you actually have 2 viable weapons on the outside. You don't just have George and a bunch of guys that you're going to hope pan out.
Mike, let me catch up because we are a little bit behind. Mark Malone, before at 11:58, 9 minutes ago, says, remember when George W. Bush was talking about revitalizing the economy in various sectors, including the gynecologists who can practice their love with women all across the nation?
Oh, I remember that.
Let's see. Mark Malone also says, hold on. I'm a little too far here. Mark Malone also says the boob talk sparked a weird memory there. Yidra Joe says, I like that. I think talking about the guys from the Rams coming here, I like that receiving QB roster. Who would be the running back, though? You know what? That's again, that just shows you that we have a few more issues than we think that we have.
Yeah.
We do have to figure out a running back situation. Let's see. Also, Mark Malone says, yeah, Coop did ball out. He sure did, man. I'd worry about the injuries. But you got to remember also, guys, we were down. We were okay with not having a number 2 receiver.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, I think this is a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, in 12 games, he had 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. So,
DLW says, I don't mind Coop for that type of mentor reason, but chasing him and okay. Don't make it seem like I don't want dudes on the team now. I really wasn't. I was just trying to make myself clear, actually. Also, DLW says he played way better than what you guys are making it seem, but we can disagree. I thought he I assume you're still talking about Jalen Hurts. He did play better, as a matter of fact. But
Maybe.
again, at the end of the day, they ran for more yards than they passed this year. That says something. Mark Malone says we need someone that can throw the ball from the pocket, which is what you have to do to threaten all parts of the field. Absolutely. If you can have a running quarterback that could do that, I think then you start talking. Again, I still have to be sold on Justin Fields. I didn't hate it when he was in there. But again, I think he still has more to show and more to prove. Mark says it makes you harder to defend. DLO, he's getting he's getting upset. I could care less what you think. I don't even think he's going to sign here this year. And P.S. I think Coop is a good receiver. I'm not just chasing him. And D at LW says, okay, to run with other people's comments. I don't know what's up DLW's butt today, but we're just going to move on. Let's see. Also, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, news. You know what? A couple other things that I did want to mention, guys. We're going to talk about the Offensive Player of the Year, Mike. Saquon Barkley, 35 first place votes. Lamar Jackson, 12 first place votes. Henry, 1 first place vote. Allen, 1 first place vote. Burrow, 1 first place vote. Jamar Chase, Triple Crown winner, no first place votes.
Yeah.
Where's the justice in any of this voting, Mike? Is this just a league of, well, it's your time now, let's just give you the award, as we've seen with Myles Garrett last year?
Yeah.
Again, as we see a guy with a Triple Crown receiving achievement, which
Yeah.
is rarely ever done, gets 0, not 1 single first place Offensive Player of the Year award. Mike, make this make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. You know, when the MVP award has become the de facto who's the best quarterback award, they should not be for consideration for the Offensive Player of the Year award at all. It should have come down to literally Jamar Chase and Saquon Barkley. They both had historic years. So then figure out, okay, which one was more valuable to that team? And you can argue both of them were so valuable to that team. And it should have been almost a split vote. It should have come down to like second, third place votes to figure out who won between those two. And like you said, it's kind of rotating now, all these awards. Like, oh, you got it this year, so you're going to get it this year. You're going to get it this year. Let's spread the love to everyone. That's why I think there should be like more awards. You know, it won't devalue the MVP, but won't devalue the Offensive Player of the Year award. But you got to figure out, okay, award for your best running back, best wide receiver. Offensive linemen should have their own award. Defensive linemen should have their own award. They have these awards in college, and it doesn't devalue any other award. You got to, you know, if you want to recognize people, recognize them. Don't just, oh, well, you had a good year last year, but we gave it to someone else. You're kind of down this year, so we're going to give it to you. And to stop that nonsense.
Mike, and Saquon Barkley gets 0 MVP first place votes. See what I'm saying?
Look what he did to that team.
This is what I'm saying, Mike. It's just the voting. If it, you know, you ever say to yourself, the voting is, you know, it's voting is screwed up, and you think, well, people are going to think that listen to that. Saquon Barkley had none MVP first place votes. Yet he won the Offensive Player of the Year by a landslide by having 35 votes. But yet in that particular race, Jamar Chase, Triple Crown winner, 0. Yeah. So again, it turned into a league to me. Is it your turn yet? Because that kind of seems to be how it goes, Mike. Yes, it was 5-5. He had 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Once his time was, dude, DWL, bro, it's all good, man. I seriously, I'm not mad at you, man. I was just I'm just trying to go through all these different messages, and if it seems like I'm really not. Let's see. Fields play better than people make him seem. Fields through how many? Okay, so there they go.
Yeah.
DW. That's all good, bro. I promise. Mark Malone says maybe he should return kicks, line up his scat back sometime.
What gives me hope for Fields is go back. What's the second half of his last year with Chicago? What him and DJ Moore did, and they were putting up some really good numbers towards the end there. And you know, if that's the quarterback you're going to get, if he becomes the starting quarterback like him, Pickens, and you get M'Baka, and then you add in Roman Wilson, you can compete. But I don't think that's the production that's going to get you over the hump. You know, I just don't think his ceiling is ever going to be in that Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen type, Jalen Hurts type production. I just don't think he's ever going to be that guy. I think he can get you to the playoffs, but He's not going to be the guy to get you over the hump. I wish he was. I wish we had that guy on our roster, but I don't think he is.
Let's see. So, guys, you want to hear another interesting number?
Yeah.
Get this one. Do you know the last 5 appearances the Steelers made in the playoffs? Of course, they haven't won in a while.
Yeah.
Get this, guys. DLW, check this out, everybody. The last 5 appearances the Steelers making the playoffs, every one of those games, they gave up their season high in points in that particular game. In those last 5 postseason games the Steelers played, they gave up or tied their season high amount of points given up all year in all 5 of those playoff games. So say the most you gave up was 30 points one year, but you gave up 35 in that year's playoff game. All 5 of them, season high. So again, guys, Steelers have to make some changes. No two ways about that. DLW says he threw DJ a career year in every stat.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. That's what gives me some hope, but I just think that might have been his peak.
And don't get me wrong, I like Fields. I do. Joe says Russ threw 10 touchdowns in 6 games. So
yeah.
And then also Mark Malone, I'm going to laugh and cry when you guys see Fields full time. Yeah, for sure. Here's a rough stat for you, Mike. And not even because at the end of the day, the guy won the Super Bowl. But the numbers that Barkley put up against the Chiefs last night, what did he go? 25 carries, 57 yards for 2.3 yards per game. Guys, get this. 25 carries, 57 yards. Both Steelers had a better day against the Chiefs defense when they played them in late December. Najee Harris, 13 carries, 74 yards for 5.7 yards per carry, and Jalen Warren, 11 for 71 yards, 6.5. And I know Mike's going to say it was a non-meeting game and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, say what you want. Our Steelers did manage to run the ball well against that defense.
They did. He caught the ball 6 times for 40 yards. Was out there lead blocking on design runs for Jalen Hurts. Sat back there and picked up blocks
on a really good Philadelphia team. On a really good Philadelphia team, he did very well. Yeah. And I just think that you can't outrule the guy that we have that's actually performing better number-wise year after year. But we all want that guy out of town here, so we will see. We got the draft coming up,
I'll
Mike.
take the guy who ran for 2,000 yards this year.
Or the guy that's consistently better every year. But anyway, whatever way you look at it.
I'll take the guy that's, just won the Super Bowl.
On a really good team with a really good offensive line. Instead of a guy that has a rookie offensive line, a bunch of injured guys, but still manages to get the
guy that when he
I'll
went
take
there,
that any
they were
day
on the
of the
downside. He brought him up, baby.
And this dude has nothing to do with the Steelers, so I have no interest in him at all.
Oh, but you're just talking about him.
Well, yeah, because I'm comparing and showing you where he's not as good in these.
Where
areas.
He's better than. Okay.
He's not. His numbers are actually not better, but. Anyway, we also got to move on, guys. The Croke Park we mentioned last week is where the Steelers are going to be playing. Mike, this Croke Park in Ireland next year, week 4 in Ireland, is the 4th largest stadium in Europe. It's the 4th largest stadium in Europe. It fills up to like 82,300 people.
Damn, that's surprising. I did not realize that. With like a lot of the big soccer clubs over there, I'm surprised it's that high.
Absolutely, man. And and I got to tell you, if it starts at 9:30 here, I was just thinking the other day, if it starts 9:30 here, like guys out on the West Coast, like John and them, it's going to be like 6 o'clock in the morning. These guys got to get up for a Steeler game. That'll be rough.
I can't wait for the atmosphere there because if it's like most venues in Europe, you can't like drink once you're in there, so they got to go in liquored up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a raucous atmosphere, and I'm ready for it. I'm already looking forward to it. We
DWL, I got a question. Did you live through the Cordell Stewart era? I'm just not sure. I don't know what age you're. It's just an innocent question, because to me, personally, just from watching football over the years, he feels a lot like the Cordell Stewart era to me. I'm talking about Justin Fields, and beyond that, I guess I got to see more, because from what I've seen so far, he's been Cordell Stewart, and I hate to, use the coin term that everyone keeps using, but Cordell 2.0. That's what I'm seeing personally. When I watch him, again, if he goes out and wins a Super Bowl next year, I'll be ecstatic. Don't get me wrong. I'll be one of the most excited people around. But there's a Cordell Stewart feel to me. And at the end of the day, Cordell always found a way to be just short, come up just short in situations. But again, that will still remain to be seen. Guys, more Steeler news. Antonio Brown, former Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver, he will be joining Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast on March 6th, guys. So if you want to catch an interesting podcast, I know a lot of times he gets interesting guests on there. Check out March 6th, coming up next month. Okay, Dio. Yeah, we're the same age, Dio.
Yeah.
So March 6th, Antonio Brown, Joe Rogan Experience. Who knows what kind of cracker of the day or what he'll be announcing on the Joe Rogan show that day. So I'm going to be checking it out for sure.
That's too
Joe
much
Rogan.
crazy for me concentrated into one thing. I'll catch snippets of it. I don't know if I can watch the whole thing. I just want to know what AB is going to do for money now that he filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, interesting. He did file for bankruptcy. Yeah, DL. Yeah, I'm the same age, man. I mean, it just really feels Cordell Stewart until he does something to break out of that. That's gonna be how I feel about him. I watched most of the Chicago games. Definitely not Cordell. That's borderline. Hey, Cordell Stewart did take us to the AFC Championship game and lost to the Patriots. So you might want to put that into consideration as well.
A whole hell of a lot better. Like both of them got a whole hell of a lot better than Jim Miller, Kent Graham, Mike Tomczak, and all the other bumps we were thrown out in that era.
Are you a Chicago fan, DLW? Is that? Let's see. Also,
this is a safe space if you're a Chicago fan. That's like being a Pirate fan.
You're right. And finally, guys, here as far as check this out. The first-time candidates for the 2026 Hall of Fame selection. Here's a list of notables on that list: Drew Brees, Frank Gore, Jason Witten, Phillip Rivers, Greg Olson, Todd Gurley, Julian Edelman, David DeCastro,
no,
Marquise Pouncey,
no,
and the two guys from Pitt, Larry Fitzgerald and Shady McCoy. And also in another season and a half or another 2 seasons, Aaron Donald. So 3 potential Pitt guys will certainly be available to go to the Hall of Fame. I think Larry Fitz a little bit quicker than anybody, but Aaron Donald, I think he's going to go in pretty quick once he becomes available. So guys,
if those two aren't first ballot Hall of Famers, just destroy the Hall of Fame of the 2 Pitt guys. They just tear it down. They're 2 of the greatest of all.
Hold on, I was reading. What did you say?
I'm going to say if Aaron Donald and Larry Fitzgerald are not first ballot Hall of Famers, just shut the fucking thing down because it's useless at that point.
They're about to break the college Hall of Fame scene, because if they do, that would put 13 different Pitt Panthers in the Hall of Fame, which I think is very close to being top of the list, if not top. I think Notre Dame has like 14 or something.
Yeah,
but
hey, just Aliquippa just seems to get a couple more, and they can equal some pro teams.
Let's see. Mark Malone says AB going to wrestle black snakes in the pool again, only this time for money. Let's see. I've seen many throws. No disrespect to Cordell. Jen says, I don't know. You know how women don't talk. I'm not even going to read that out loud, Jen.
Nope. Smart move, my friend. Smart move.
In DLW, I'm actually a Giants fan, but I follow players in college. I like in college. So all right. No, maybe you have good questions. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm just asking, brother. Some teams I always like: Steelers, Bears, and the hard-nosed teams for sure, man. But those guys are those are your notables for the Hall of Fame next year. Some big names on that list. How Drew Brees doesn't go and walk into the Hall of Fame next year?
Yeah, he should be a first ballot as well. One of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time. Jesus,
so, a lot of good guys. Be interesting. I feel bad for the guys that. They're borderline now, and they were borderline 10 years ago. And the guys that maybe should be in, but they're not going to get it.
Yeah. That's the thing that sucks, too, because you get guys from, like, a different era. Like, their stats don't match up to this guy. Like, that's a different era. That was, like, a running era. Now we're into the passing era. So some guys get screwed over, kind of like Hines Ward. He's going to be held because his numbers weren't comparable to the era of the guys that he played in and then the guys coming
They
in.
were
But you have to
still
look at the
really
team that
good.
he was in and stuff.
They were still
So,
really good numbers, man.
they were
I was looking
damn
at that
good
the other
numbers. I
day.
know. I'm looking at him like
I'm
every
thinking,
time I look
geez, he
at
should
him,
be in.
every time I look at him and I look at the guys that are getting in, and then you add in,
Because he wasn't a
two-time Super Bowl
receiving
champion.
receiver. You know
He
what I
was a
mean?
Super Bowl MVP. Like
He should be in.
he should be in. Take all that blocking stuff out. I think that's a stupid argument for it. But
I think that just
everything
adds.
else,
I mean,
everything else
that was his
into
game. The guy was.
everything else that he does though
He
too
did
is so
that
huge.
better than anybody, and he did everything that he did with the numbers. I say
Just as
that's a
well.
Hall of Famer in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Jen says age is just a number. That's right, Jen. I'm 46 anyway, so it's a little bit older than Dio. So a little closer there, but you're right. Age is just a number. DLW says that was a good question. Appreciate that. Cheers, fellas. Dum Yinzers Joe says, dang it, Mike, I can't even read the comments in the chat because of your glare off your head. Come on, man. I say that every day to him. Every day. I don't know what he's doing, but I hope he's putting a hat on. No, yeah, there he is. There he is with his hair, his head.
Does this block the glare? I'll do anything I can to block the glare.
Oh, might block it for me, but you got to double check with Yinzer Joe. He's really bothered by this.
I'm going to lotion up triple time next time we're on. It's just going to be a thick layer.
Mike, Mike, I heard some. I don't know if I'm going to do that.
No.
I was just going to say your face can gag a maggot. I just didn't know if it was the time or place.
That's a fucking good one. I got to write that down.
All right, here we got to get into some other sports, Mike. Penguins over the weekend before they started their 2-week, that's right, 2-week break. The Penguins win on Friday night. They travel to Madison Square Garden, and they win 3-2 over the Rangers without Crosby, without Malkin. Saturday night, though, they play Philadelphia. Philadelphia Flyers, the hated Flyers, get the win over the Penguins 3-2. The Penguins will be back in action in 2 weeks. Actually, the 22nd of February, 3 o'clock p.m. They'll be back. They'll be hosting the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, they're on with the pause for the Four Nations tournament.
Yes, it is the Four Nations tournament. Also, the Pitt Panthers are back in action over the weekend, trying to sweep the North Carolina Tar Heels this season, falling 1 point short, losing 67-66 this time to North Carolina. In North Carolina, they're back in action tomorrow night at 9 o'clock against SMU at SMU. Pittsburgh Pirates, they report Pirates and pitchers and catchers report to camp this week. Mike, Connor Joe, big part of the team the past couple of years. He's gone. Yeah. He's a Padre. Mike, also Paul Skeens with his 1.96 last year is the lowest ERA in a debut season. So we got some things to look forward to here. They made a couple of these merry-go-round trades that they make every year, basically sending a guy out and bringing a guy in with the exact same talent and pay to play the position just to make it seem like they're doing something. So
I saw something. It was like, I'm not probably gonna have the date wrong, but it's it's damning either way. It's been something like 10, 15 years since they've signed a player in free agency to more than a one-term deal, a 1-year term in free agency. This is a joke organization. You have arguably one of the best young pitching staffs in the league. You have one of the best pitchers in the league, and you don't add anything to the roster, and you expect them to compete. You expect these guys to be here long term. Get the F out of here. Do something, please.
Pirates will be back at it again. They catchers and pitchers back this week. The rest of the team goes down, I believe, the end of next week. Whatever it is, won't be too long now. Pirates will be back in action, Mike. Also, the UFL, which is spring football. The WFL, which we do follow, is women's football, the Pittsburgh Passion. We also have the WNBA coming up, Mike. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds, the NBA, the NHL have to finish out their season. I do want to say that the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, in their first preseason game Saturday, they did, Mike, win. They beat Duquesne 3-0 in the first preseason game of the year at Highmark Stadium. So just like that, Mike, another Pittsburgh Riverhound season is underway. I can't believe how fast these seasons and everything are going. The WNBA, weren't we just covering this? The UFL, the WFL, we were just covering this, Mike. So Sure enough, it's all back on top of getting you ready for the combine, free agency, the draft, signing, all this kind of fun stuff, guys. The sports does not stop just because the Super Bowl is over. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things to talk about between now and July, whenever the guys get back to camp and we send Derpy up to Latrobe again. Uh, Nonetheless, let's do catch up on a couple.
Yes, please do.
Let's see. Mark Malone says, "Oh hell yeah, Mike! You have to grow a scarlet. A scarlet, Mike. I've seen better looking heads come from behind the zippers than Mike's head. Come on."
What the fuck?
Yinzer Joe says, "How about a LeBron headband? LeBron
There we
headband.
go.
All
There we
right.
go.
Jen says, "Be proud of your glare, Mike. Bald is beautiful."
It is very beautiful.
And you just let's see. You just tell everyone that you're bald because you made too many U-turns under the bed sheets.
Oh hell yeah!
All right. I like it.
That would be my new one.
I had another one too. I was gonna get you with, but I can't remember what it was.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yinzer Joe also says, "I'm tripping out that the Steelers aren't on now. Do you guys watch?" Yes. Well, is it worth it? Those are two different questions.
That's
yes and no, and yes and no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tripping out too. No Steelers. I'll probably watch a lot of games that are on the NFL Network off season. They rerun. But the UFL, I think, is a lot of fun. It's still growing. It's in its infantile stage. Of course, the UFL itself is only in its second season. The XFL and the USFL, they formed last year for the first season of that particular league. The UFL, the year before, the Pittsburgh Maulers was in the championship game. So, I mean, we've been following it. And again, I don't see any reason why we won't this year. It's just football in the spring. It's not the NFL, but at the end of the day, if you love football, I'll watch it because it's on. And again, once you start understanding and knowing and learning the guys, it becomes a lot, it's more interesting, of course.
Yeah.
You turn on the NFL, you know every single guy.
Yeah.
You go into a new league, you don't. So it does have a different feel, but you just got to kind of invest a little bit of your time into it.
Yeah, and some of like the unique stuff that they do, like how they had the drones last year following the play. Yeah. I kind of like that. It was different than the sky cam. They had that as well, but those had like a little drone flying around, cameraman on the field at certain points. Different styles of camera play. I like that. Adds a unique flavor to it. Stuff like the NFL is watching, so kind of see what the NFL will take from them, because they took their kickoff stuff from them.
Out of everything to say, they took that stupid kickoff.
I know, right?
Take it back.
Yeah, they should be have the drones flying around the stadium. That's what I want to see.
Everything's going to be drones soon. I was reading this article where drones are just going to be flying overhead like nothing before you know it, with the deliveries and things like this.
Yep.
So it won't be long. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website, and then we'll get into the trivia.
The2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the merch store over there. We got all of our social media links over there. The blog will be returning next week, because we will be after the Super Bowl. So, yes, the blog's back. I know it's much anticipated. Mike's Dumb Thoughts at the2dumyinzers.com.
All right, go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. A lot of cool stuff over there. Go check it out. Trivia question of the day is a Super Bowl MVP question. Mike, put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the board, everybody at home, here we go. Question of the day. Of course, Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl MVP. Here we go. Out of 59 Super Bowl MVPs, how many were not quarterbacks, running backs, or receivers?
Ooh.
Let me read that one more time. Out of 59 Super Bowl MVPs, how many were not quarterback, running back, or wide receivers? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, right here on YouTube. Mike, the question of the day. Let me get Jen real quick. I tried watching it, but it made me feel like I was watching high school football with the UFL probably.
Yeah, it's not a polished league because they have like a short amount of time.
Yinzer Joe says, "Hey, do you guys think the NFL league will invest in sensors?" Yes, I think yes. To help the location on the field. I heard something about this. I said the next 5 years. I don't even think you're going to be able to. I don't even think we're going to be able to recognize this word. I got to be honest with you. In 5 years, I think the technology and AI is just getting ready to boom, and whatever that means, I don't know, but it's outgrowing itself really fast, and it's kind of scary. But yes, I do believe that everything will definitely get more technology, and they're experimenting, Mike, with the computer umpires in baseball
Yeah.
spring training this year. So if you're interested in the Buccos at all, guys, they are experimenting with robot umpiring in spring training this season.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Mike, out of 59 Super Bowl MVPs, how many were not quarterback, running back, wide receivers? Anything else is fine, just not one of those three positions.
Also, not quarterback, running back, wide receiver.
Correct. It could
Mm,
be defensive tackles. It could
Mon-
be linebackers. It could be
Let's see. There's the guy with Dallas, the defensive player. He won it when he on the team that lost. Um, Larry Brown. Those are the only two popping into my head. I'm gonna go with three just to be safe.
three just to be safe. Is that
Say
your final answer, Mike?
final answer.
All right. So Mike says three. Over enthusiastic Maud Caleb says at least two. I got Mike locked in on three. All right, guys. Answer of the question of the day. Super Bowl questions will be done after today. But today is about the MVP. That's how you got to finish out every Super Bowl season. Out of the 59 Super Bowl MVPs, how many were not quarterback, running back, receivers? Mike says three. Over enthusiastic Maud Caleb says two. The answer, of course, of the 59 Super Bowl MVPs, 11 of them were not
Wow.
quarterback, running back, wide receivers. I don't have the list in front of me, but do feel free to look it up yourself. And there's a bunch. Richard Dent, the defensive end in 1985 for the Bears, coming to mind. Mike, you mentioned Larry Brown, also Ray Lewis for the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh yeah.
Von Miller for the Denver Broncos. The dude that ran the kickoffs back for Green Bay in '97. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head.
Well, was it Ishmael? Was that Rocket?
No. But hey, Ralph, how you doing? How you doing this afternoon, my man?
Jen, I'll take a look at that.
But yeah, Jen. Anyway, I'm not real sure. It was acting funny last night. I'm not sure what's up with Discord, Mike. If you want to,
I'll take a look at that.
Yep. But if you look it up, guys, there's 11, and that even includes Larry Zonka, who was a fullback. I did keep him in there, of course. He's a running back, but 11 different players who were not quarterbacks, running backs, or wide receivers were MVPs in the first 59 Super Bowls. So that was pretty interesting, Mike. I didn't know how you would do. But 11, that's a lot more than I thought there was.
Me too, man. Like, well, Caleb was right. He said at least two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think he gets the win on that one.
Absolutely, man. Let me see if I can't find something real. If I can, I'm just going to move past it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll check that out. I'm not real sure what's going on with that, Jen. I think Lawrence Taylor
did.
It. Let's see, Super Bowl MVPs. I'll pull it up because let me see. All right, this should be a list. If it lets me have it, I'm going to talk about it. If not, we're not.
All right, killing me, Smalls.
All right, here we go. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Linebacker Chuck Howley in Super Bowl V would have been the first one out of Dallas. Safety Jake Scott out of Super Bowl VII out of Miami was a safety. Desmond Howard, yeah, that's who I was talking about. Yinzer Joe, thank you.
Yep.
There was a co-MVP, Mike. It was the defensive line of Dallas in Super Bowl XII.
Huh.
Harvey Martin and Randy White. Richard Dent in Super Bowl XX for the Bears. Larry Brown for the Cowboys against the Steelers. Desmond Howard the next year for the Packers. Ray Lewis. Dexter Jackson in the Tampa Bay Super Bowl win in over 3. Dexter Jackson, safety. Corner, I'm sorry. Also, linebacker Malcolm Smith for Seattle. Malcolm Smith in their Super Bowl win. Von Miller in Super Bowl 50. And that's it. Like 11
Damn.
players. So I wouldn't have guessed it. That's why
Me either.
I had to
I
ask.
thought it was low. I forgot about Ray Lewis, Von Miller.
I mean, the guys
I
back in
forgot.
Super Bowl 7, I would have never guessed,
Yeah,
anyway, but
I knew the one
11.
guy from the Cowboys because my one of my friends is related to him. That was his uncle, and he always brings up that trivia when talking about the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the only reason I knew those two.
Also, I don't know if you did, but do on Friday nights at 9:30, go check out the two cranky
Yes.
jagoffs, Finch and Tim. They're usually roughly about an hour and a half. They get on, they talk about a little bit of everything. If you like good talk and you definitely know the guys from the show, do go check out on 9:30 on Friday nights the two cranky jagoff show. Finch, which will be on, here during the weekend. Derpy as well. I know Derpy's sick. I'm not sure when. But we'll get him as soon as possible because we have to divvy up his winnings. Like
Yeah.
he did win, he dominated. He had a Miami Dolphin 72 kind of season. Not really didn't win them all, but I got to tell you, he was dominant all season. You got to
Yeah.
like what he did. So when he comes back, also Finch will be back during the week as well. But do go check it on Friday nights 9:30 right here on our YouTube network. Go check it out. Two cranky jagoffs every Friday night at
Check it out.
9:30. Mike, I got to be honest, brother. I think I touched on everything that I want to talk about today.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments about the Super Bowl, or anything that we talked about, or anything else?
People were trying to say, defenses can't win championships. I think this game proved that your defenses can win championships, but I don't think our defense can win championships right now. The way this Philly defense was playing, they were at a whole nother level. Everyone's talking about what Steve Spagnuolo for the Chiefs defense coordinator. Everyone forgot about the D coordinator for Philly. He's been around forever too. He's one of the best all time as well, and he dialed up something special. It was a thing of beauty to watch, man. I love just watching that defense. I love watching defenses play, and I found something to enjoy about that Super Bowl other than Saquon and Dotson playing for the Eagles. That was about it, man. But that defense was scary good.
Yeah, I mean that was at the end of the day, my silver lining was there was a lot of Pennsylvania people in this particular Super Bowl. Between the guys that went to either Pitt or Penn State, between the guys that are right here from the Whippeal in Western Pennsylvania, that played their high school and grown up here, guys on the coaching staffs, guys, the GM of the Kansas City Chiefs in the Big 33. Lot of local connection to this, and I did use that as a silver lining, Mike. But at the end of the day, the game was satisfying. It was nice to see the Chiefs not be able to do anything at all, and not even the referees could save them when you're down 34-0 late in the game. So at the end of the day, the word I used to describe Super Bowl 59, in my opinion, guys, was satisfying. That was probably the best top to bottom team in the NFL, Mike. If you look at the Eagles position by position, I don't think that there's a team that's better than the Eagles. My question mark was Jalen Hurts. The guy proved me last night. Again, I told you at the top of the show, I changed my opinion. I think that you could maybe start now putting Jalen Hurts in that guy category that we tend to have here on the show. He was on the fence for me, but I think that the performance that I seen in the Super Bowl, that tipped it for me, Mike. I think he is one hell of a quarterback. Maybe if we see him go play for the Cardinals or something someday, because they'll be willing to pay him and the Philadelphia Eagles won't, we'll then maybe be able to see Jalen Hurts play.
I think he's locked up long term there.
But what I'm saying, the point of the conversation being, if he went to somewhere else, would he still be this guy? It's hard to say. It's hard to, but I do know this. Philadelphia has a great team. If he stays here, there's a lot of good things that's going to happen for these guys moving forward. And the Steelers, we just gotta step on it, man, and try to get back in this race. Again, the Eagles, the scumbags from the eastern side of the state,
Philadelphians.
They do finally have something beside Rocky to get excited about. A fictional movie was their highlight. So if they survive this, the city survives. I think they'll be okay over there. Yinzer Joe said, sad thing is our defense was number 2 against the run, and Watt and Hayward on the field. Bus second to last when they were resting. Yeah, I mean,
But come playoff time though, man, they got, even when they were out there, teams were running on
and as
us.
I said again, Joe, I don't know if everybody caught this number. The last 5 playoff appearances the Steelers made, the amount of points they let up in those 5 playoff games was their season high given up all year.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. In the playoffs, they gave up season high in the last 5 playoff games. It's unbelievable. Things have to happen. There's no two ways about it. Almost like your Crosby and Malkin, Mike, not being in the lineup Friday and they go up and get the win.
Yeah.
Maybe we can't we can't keep bringing the guys in that aren't getting it done. At the end of the day, you got to get it done. But again, Mike, we have 5.5 months. We're going to dig into it and figure out what it is this team has to do to move forward and get better and stay competitive. I think there are some answers that we will talk about moving forward.
Yes.
But Mike, again, Penguins are back off 2 weeks. 2 weeks, they're done. They have their break. I think you said that the basketball All-Star game is this coming weekend, if I'm not mistaken, the NBA. But again, we have all kind of sports that's going to keep things interesting through the spring, guys, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So we will be on top of all of that. We do want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Love
we
it.
truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
And I do want to say thank you to everybody at home as well. You guys are fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. As I mentioned, tomorrow we'll be back at it. Like I said, I'm going to keep digging into these Steelers. We're going to keep bringing in these Steelers scoop every day, fresh, whatever it may be, no matter how small the scoop may be, on top of everything else here in Western Pennsylvania going on. Mike, anything before we do get ready to wrap it up, brother?
No, other than thanks, everyone. Loved it, man. Great show today.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much one more time. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time. Everybody have a great Monday. Yeah, no more football. Jeez. I just thought when I said that, Mike, I thought, what's on Monday? What's on Monday night?
Nothing.
Wrestling? I don't know.
No,
but that's what I'm saying. No football.
I know.
Football's
no
done.
Football's
NFL's
done. I know.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, we do want to thank you so much.
Yes.
Have a great Monday.
Yes.
We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time. Have a great one. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
See you.